Welcome to OTR, a friendly debate. Our Off the Record Club, podcast where three lawyers debate everything big and small, and we try to remain friends. Today, we are missing a co-host, but Mucci and I are going to be discussing legal misconceptions. Mucci?
So, of course, Lando, you're a prosecutor, and I do immigration law. I'm Mucci. And we're going to discuss legal misconceptions in pop culture. We did do a live episode about this, but we figured we'd do a little mini episode for you guys to have a more compact version of what we discussed. One misconception I see frequently with immigration in pop culture is in the concept of green card marriages. So, for example, Parks and Recreation, Tom Haverford divorcing from his wife, find out it's a green card marriage. And there's a lot more issues with that in real life. It's not like a simple process or a simple solution. There can actually be really severe civil penalties, fines, and really grave consequences for that. The other thing is that this idea of just the catch-all term of visas, meaning anything from a visitor visa to a work visa to permanent resident status or a green card. For example, in Seinfeld, Babu is deported when he doesn't renew his visa, but it's very unclear what type of visa this even was, and it didn't really seem like there would be any kind of visa where he could work legally as a short order cook. So it's just the vagueness of those terms is very common in pop culture, and also with Babu, how quickly he goes from missing a deadline to being removed from the country is extremely not accurate.
I would say that one big legal misconception that I always see is that pop culture, movies in general, TV, lawyers are always trial attorneys. That's not the case. And as trial attorneys, they're always doing whatever they want in a trial. No, there's things called rules of evidence, which essentially governs what you can and can't do in a trial. So if someone is asked in a movie or a TV show, asking someone to speculate as to what they think happened or what they think about a certain thing. Objection, speculation, not admissible. We can't speculate and have that come in as evidence, as testimony during a trial. It's a no-no. During the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, everyone heard about hearsay. That's absolutely a thing, but it comes in all the time in movies and TV shows. So, lawyers can't just do whatever they want in court. They have to follow a specific rule set, and it's there to essentially protect the record, protect the rights of everybody involved.
One other field that's a little bit inaccurate in pop culture is a field that I actually started this podcast in practicing, and that's personal injury. And also in Seinfeld, there is a parody of the McDonald's hot coffee case, which everyone kind of makes fun of. The woman got spilled hot coffee on herself and got this huge settlement. But if you actually look into the case, she got really badly burned, and there's horrific pictures of it. The coffee was way too hot. And Seinfeld, does kind of make a joke on this when Kramer spills coffee on himself in a theater, and then he ends up settling the case for free coffee for life because he shakes the executive's hand before hearing even the rest of the deal, the settlement deal, which is very fast for that to happen. Usually those are in writing, and you can't really screw yourself into that corner. One area that I think pop culture gets right is in some more recent shows with regard to immigration. One is, funnily enough, a reality show, 90 Day Fiancé. And I just appreciate the fact that they actually get the number of days right for a fiancé K-1 visa. I think it's pretty cool that that concept is put out there for so much of the public to see. And the show does delve into some of the stigmas associated with those kinds of relationships, those kinds of marriages. The kind of mail order bride concept, which I think is really interesting. The show covers that. Also, the Netflix show One Day at a Time is a sitcom with this Cuban-American family, and their episode Strays kind of covers a lot of issues with regard to um, undocumented immigrants and deportation and things like that, in a very like level and nuanced way that actually is pretty accurate to immigration law. And they cover an actual real thing for Cuban immigrants called Pedro Pan. So there are some really interesting things that are covered, particularly more recently, and I think pop culture is getting it right more recently than it used to in the past.
I guess the courtroom setting, the procedurally, there is opening statements, there's direct examinations, cross examinations, closing arguments, and the judge's demeanor is probably pretty accurate. Um, but it's kind of hard to take that all in when you know that they're just asking whatever they want.
Before we get to the final point, I just want to remind everyone to like and subscribe to us, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on all our social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all that. And you can listen to us on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
One thing that I think the media should portray more of is law school. I mean, it's a great way to portray the budding career of lawyers, right? So Bill Lawrence with Scrubs did an amazing job showing how these fresh new doctors make their way through medicine and the hospital environment. I think he could do the same thing with the legal community. Bill Lawrence, Mucci and I have already written the pilot for this first episode. So give us a call.
I can think of a couple things I want to see more of or less of in pop culture. One is that, lawyers always being portrayed as unethical or sleazy. I mean, we do take an oath to, practice ethically and fairly. And, it's like you always see a lawyer doing some sleazy stuff that I think is not really accurate. But also, more crucially for me, working in immigration, I think a more sympathetic portrayal of immigrants coming from different countries to America is needed in pop culture. And I think I've seen the trend head more toward that way, and I really appreciate that.
And with that, this has been OTR, a friendly debate. But it really hasn't been a debate. It's just been Mucci and I discussing things. So thanks for listening or watching, whatever the f*** you've been doing.